Hi, in this video I'm going to talk you through 7 different ways for you to care for your houseplants using the energy healing practice of Reiki. So my name is Faye Johnston and I've been practicing Reiki since 2000, and I am passionate about plants and herbalism and also shamanic practice, and this has led me to develop a therapy known as Plant Spirit Reiki. I am the founder of the Plant Spirit Reiki School and the author of the book with the same title. So I've helped hundreds of people just like you work with Reiki to connect and communicate with plants and help them heal. If you like this video, remember to subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified when all my other videos come out, and please like, share and comment below so that others can benefit from this video too and learn more about Plant Spirit Reiki. So what I'm going to do is dive in with the first way that we can work with Reiki. Now this is the most obvious, it's hands-on Reiki. So what do I mean by that? I mean by connecting to Reiki in the way that you have been taught and placing your hands onto the plants. So with a plant like this, which is very large, this beauty next to me, placing our hands onto a leaf isn't going to cause any damage whatsoever. So we can do that very, very comfortably, and we can move to all the leaves. In fact, even on this plant, I can actually touch the stem without causing any damage. If you had a smaller plant though, for example, what you might want to do, rather than damaging, if you still wanted to put your hands on, you can hold a smaller plant by in your hands like this. So this is going to be helping the roots of the plant. So for example, with a small plant like this is just a baby who we've replanted and transplanted it. So this might want Reiki in its roots, for example, so that it can establish itself well. A larger plant like the one that's next to me, again, I can put my hands around the plant there. So hands-on Reiki, really obvious way for us to bring Reiki to our plants. So that's number one. The second way is working with hands-off Reiki. Okay, and you might want to do that, for example, on a plant such as one like this, or one that has very, very delicate flowers that you might damage, or you risk damaging and upsetting if you were to place your hands on. You know, cactuses also, they're a bit too prickly for us to hold in our hands. In this case, for example, you can do hands-on the pot, or you would simply hover your hands at a distance away from the plant. And when I'm approaching a plant in this way, I would start usually a couple of feet away, and then I would just, asking Reiki to flow, I would just come in closer and closer until I felt the plant's energy field, and I would send Reiki in this hands-off, using this hands-off method. So the third way that we can care for our houseplants using Reiki is the distance Reiki method. So this is slightly different from simply sort of beaming Reiki to the plant from a distance when you're with it, this kind of hands-off method. The distance method actually can involve you not even having to be in the same room or the same house place as your plant. So this works in the same way as you have been taught to send Reiki over a distance to a client or a friend, for example. And Reiki level 2 practitioners will be familiar with the use of symbols in order to do this. I sometimes like to do it by imagining the plant is growing in my hand, especially houseplants that I know really well. I can visualize them in my hand as if I was sending Reiki to them. We can work with surrogates. We can use a photograph is another way. So if you have a photograph of the plant on your phone, you can do that in that way, or the name of the plant as well. Or also, if you have a Reiki list, a list of people who you send healing to every week, for example, then add your houseplants to that list so that they will get the healing that you send over a distance when you send Reiki to everybody on your healing list. Okay, so the fourth way that we can send Reiki to our houseplants is by charging things like crystals and placing these crystals around the roots and on the soil at the base of a plant. So for example, I've got a small rose quartz here, and this one is a larger labradorite crystal, which is one of my favourites, and I also like clear quartz for this as well, because they really carry a very strong, clear vibration for you. So charge the crystal by holding it in your hand and beaming Reiki to it, and you might want to charge it with an intention or any other ways that you've been taught in whichever level of Reiki you are. And then I would place, so this larger crystal, that might be placed, for example, by the base of a larger plant, but a smaller crystal like this can be placed at the base of the smaller plants that you have. So number 5, the 5th way to make sure that your plants are benefiting from Reiki is each time you water them and each time you feed them. So for example, what I do, and this is my top tip here, I always water my houseplants with rainwater that I have collected. That's not very hard to do in Scotland because we're quite wet here and it rains a lot. So I always have collection points outside that are collecting water for me, and then I put them into the watering cans that I might want to use, and then it's a simple case of holding the watering can in your hand and pausing and sending Reiki, asking Reiki to flow while that watering can is in your hand. And obviously with all of these methods we are asking for Reiki to flow for the highest good of all beings, and we're visualizing our houseplants healthy, happy and well. Okay, so that is just using water, or if you use a liquid feed, you can put the feed in the water and beam Reiki. Also, again, some people might like to use crystals in the water to amplify the healing abilities, or also if you work with, if you've got lovely sacred water that's come from a holy water, that's the word I was looking for, holy water that has come from a sacred well or a sacred space, your plants might like that too. So it's a case of tuning in and asking for guidance and seeing what the plants will be needing at this moment. So the sixth tip I have for you to help your plants with Reiki is by using the symbols. So if you are Reiki level 2, you will be already familiar with different symbols that we use in Reiki. So what we can do is we can scribe the symbols over the plant and place the symbols in the energy field of the plant, or we can scribe the symbols on the pot of the plant. Some people might even paint the symbols onto the plants, or even rest the plants on top of a mat which has got a symbol on it. If you have learned to use symbols like the Antakarana, then you can also use that as well to help amplify the healing energy for the plant. Similarly, with a small plant like this, now this is like 6B, I would say, so I'm giving you an extra one here. Similarly, with a small plant like this, if you really wanted to boost its healing and help it get better, you might want to place that in the center of a small crystal grid. The larger ones like this is slightly harder, and that's why you can place the crystals onto the plant's base itself, or even around the plant. It depends how much space you have, obviously. And the seventh tip for helping your plants with Reiki is to remember to place them into your treatment space, because as you are opening up to Reiki and channeling Reiki for self-treatment and the treatment of your clients or your distant clients, you are asking Reiki to flow, and the plants that are in your space where you are carrying out your Reiki treatments will be benefiting from the Reiki that is flowing through you. So those are my 7 tips. If you would like a plant connection checklist, this is from my first book, Plants That Speak, Souls That Sing. You can download that in the link below. There's a link to download that, and that gives you all these different tips as to how to connect with plants respectfully for greater success in your communications. And if you're interested in Plant Spirit Reiki, there's also a free audio sample of the chapter from my book down there for you to download too. So I hope this has been really helpful for you. I'd love to hear from you in the comments about your favourite houseplants and your favourite ways to connect with them using Reiki. Take care, everyone. Bye.